Hey Joseph, how you doing? Okay, let's go ahead and jump over. I don't see any written rationale here accompanying your submission, so we'll jump straight to the posters. Okay, so we got three posters. The sketches are fantastic. They really, really show to a very high degree what your intent is in terms of typography, illustration, placement, composition, and page layout. So these are really fantastic sketches. Now, the one thing that you did mention in your submission, which is right here, is that you plan on using Baskerville, Helvetica, and Franklin Gothic. However, I'm not seeing those depicted. I'm seeing all sans serif here, so I'm not seeing that Baskerville that you spoke of. So a lot of times when you sketch, it's a really good idea to try to, if you're going to use Baskerville, just try to include serifs so that we know that that's the area that where you're going to include Baskerville. And don't feel like you're stuck having to use Baskerville, Franklin Gothic, and Helvetica. You can use a decorative typeface for the title area. The recommendations for type are just basically showing you examples of typefaces that happen to work well together, inducing you to add some typographic variety into your compositions. So typically, if you want to use a decorative typeface for day on the bay, that's fantastic. I'm perfectly fine with that. Then you use your other typefaces, Baskerville and maybe Franklin New Gothic, maybe San Francisco and Baskerville, and then New Gothic down here. Does that make sense? So you're adding some typographic variety. However, you're not locking yourself into using those. So basically, I just want you to understand that you can use, if there's an intent for the reasoning, if there's an intent for the use of the type face, then please feel free to go ahead and use it. Now, as I said, the sketches are fantastic, top notch, really great job here. The one thing that I think the presentation is lacking is written information. We jump over to the project poster begin, and I'm just right up here, week 1, project 1, poster begin, and then we move down here, right here to last few sentences in this research paragraph. Basically, it's saying to research, which you've done, right? But then it's saying that indicate whether the poster is used to promote an event, introduce a person or organization, or advertise. And you've established that right here. Here's a promotion. Here's a promotion. So your 3 pieces are promotional. That's fantastic. The one thing we don't have is your target audience. As we can see, is define and state your target audience and develop your content to communicate to a specific message to that audience. So what I'd like to see you do is define your target audience, okay? Who are you trying to communicate to? And then just a little description of how you feel this piece will effectively communicate to that given audience. Keeping in mind all the while that we communicate differently to a group of 7th graders than we would communicate to a group of astrophysicists, right? I mean, it's a pretty obvious example, but I use that example to be obvious so that you understand that in order to communicate effectively with a specific group, we need to really define that group to a very high degree and then determine the best way to communicate with that group. For example, this piece is primarily, I would say the target audience for this is younger males, to a lesser degree females, but definitely younger males, ages probably 10 to 22 or so. I would say that would be your demographic, your main demographic for a skate park. So this, I think, effectively does communicate with that particular target market because the type is very, very large. The movement here is very interesting, and the way that he's entering the composition is kind of indicative of something that a younger audience would expect. It's not subtle. There's a lot of movement. So I think this would effectively communicate with that target market. So the main thing here is to define that target market and then talk a little bit about how your sketches effectively communicate with that target market. Nothing major. I mean, a few sentences will definitely suffice in that regard. All right, fantastic job. So moving forward, please choose the direction. I think they're all great. I really do. Boy, this could be so dynamic, but yet this is fantastic. I think this might be the weak link of the two. So I would say these two really have enormous potential. So at any rate, you choose the direction that you feel has the most potential, and please pursue that direction. If you have any questions, comments, or if you need clarification on anything I've said or anything that you've covered in the class, please don't hesitate to let me know, and I'll attend to that immediately. All right. Fantastic job. Thank you so much for your submission. And again, if you have any questions, Joseph, please feel free to let me know. Thank you very much.